Hello and welcome to Scratch Paper, a writing-related podcast. I'm Alicia de los Reyes, and this is episode 4. I'm so happy that you are listening, whether you are a new listener or old listener. Welcome. So we're on to episode 4. I promised this week to start a new series, and I'm going to do that. The 3 things I do each podcast are share what I'm reading, share what I'm writing, and then share a writing lesson. And like I mentioned, this week we'll be kicking off a series on how to get started writing a novel. So this week I'm going to share one way to get some ideas if you have absolutely no idea what to write about, but you would like to write a novel. But first, let me give you a writing update. This is very exciting. I revised my entire first chapter of Finding Lucy, the novel that I'm working on, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a big hurdle for me because it was the short story, originally a short story that inspired my entire novel, and I felt like I just couldn't rewrite it, and it turned out that I could, and it was actually kind of fun to put it in a new voice, and I like it better. Well, I like it the same. I don't hate it, and I think that the voice is punchier and better for the rest of the novel, so I'm feeling good about that. We will see what my agent says. That's very exciting to me. So, and this came after a week of not getting even my little 20 minutes of writing in. So I actually got to meet up with my writing friend, Chris, and I wrote for almost 2 hours, and I finished that first chapter. It was awesome. So once again, highly recommend you find yourself a writing buddy if you are having trouble finding time to write or motivate yourself to write. As for what I am reading, I am in a reading rut, and I have not picked up Bel Canto again because, like I said, I'm still afraid to read the Stitches scene, and also everything else I try to read seems to have like something gut-wrenching in it that I just can't handle anymore, at least right now. And all my other nonfiction books that I'm reading seem to have taken a turn for the boring. So I will let you know. I'm going to try out another series this afternoon. I'll let you know if I come across anything worth recommending. Hopefully I do, because it's been a while since I've read a good book. And now on to getting ideas for your novel. So let me talk a bit about the series. I hope to start to do a series on getting started writing a novel. So this week I'll talk about ideas and where to find them. Then next I'll be talking about once you have an idea, how to start, and then some thoughts on research and what to do when you get stuck. And things like that. So really, I hope that this will help you to start with nothing besides a notebook and a pen or your computer, and to end up with like the first 10 pages of your novel, which would be really exciting, especially if you've never written a novel before. So if you are one of those people who's like, man, I've always wanted to write this, but I've never sat down and done it, this series is for you. Or if you're like, I've always wanted to write a novel, but I have no idea where I would even begin, this series is for you. In particular, this episode and possibly next week's is for you, because we're going to talk about where you can get ideas. But even if you do have an idea, it still might be helpful to you to listen to these ideas podcasts, because it can help you flesh out your own idea and think about it from another angle maybe, which might help you either in getting started or in continuing to write, because sometimes you just run out of steam and you're like, okay, well, I think my idea is done, but it might not be. So let's get into it. So this week, we're going to talk about ways to get ideas from a place. So novels need some kind of really big storyline, right? Like it has to be bigger than a short story, which is like, something happened, character changed, maybe. Or it's not over the span, sometimes it's over a long time, but usually it's like a short period of time, an event, some kind of quick happening transformation. But a novel is a big storyline, lots of things happen in it, lots of time goes by usually. There might be lots of characters. So this can be intimidating, but another way to think of it is you have a lot of room to just kind of like try writing all the different things that you want to write about. And one thing that I always like to write about is place. So I think that place can be a good place to start. Place can be a good way to get into a story because it can offer you a lot of different possibilities if you choose a place that has a lot of kind of interesting potential. And what I mean is it's not like a perfect place, or maybe it is a perfect place, a perfect seeming place, but it really has a dark underbelly or something like that. So I think that one way to get into a novel is to pick a place and then think about the ways that your character could interact with that place, or the problems that the place could offer your character, or vice versa. The problems that your character could introduce to the place. And a lot of stories are like this. So one that comes to mind is Chocolat, which was also a movie, but is also an excellent novel about, and the main character and her daughter arrive in this kind of staid, quiet town at the beginning of Lent and open up a chocolate shop. And so they kind of introduce madness into the town for a little while. It's very interesting and fun to read about. So here are a few concrete ways to use place to inspire your novel. So, for example, maybe your character is just chucked into an unexpected place. This is how my novel, Finding Lucy, begins. My character is traveling and she's in this new city in Malaysia. She doesn't know, she's sick, she doesn't know what to do, and so she's just chucked into this place. Another storyline or another example of using place is a character really wants to live in a particular place, but for some reason she can't. So I feel like there's some chick lit novels that have this, but now of course none are popping to mind, and I should have written one down earlier. Anyway, a character wants to live in a particular place but can't. That kind of solves the what problem does your character have? Because in a novel, your character probably needs a big problem, and trying to live in a place can provide the backdrop for that, for the rest of the storyline. Another one might be a character lives in a place that she hates and has to get away. Jane Eyre came to mind for this one. Also, Beauty and the Beast, right? She's stuck in that poor provincial town. She wants to get away. A character plotting her escape. There are plenty of novels and movies that cover that. A place with a big secret that the character has to uncover, or a place with a secret that only the character knows. The 13th Tale, which is a modern Gothic novel and which is amazing. That's a good example of a place with a secret that only the character knows. And actually, there's two kind of main characters. The narrator doesn't know it, but the protagonist, she knows it. So those are just a few ways that you can use place to, and how your character interacts with place to come up with the story. And if you are using these ideas to try and come up with your own, what I recommend you do is take one of them. Let's say we're going to do a place with a big secret that the character has to uncover. So I would write that at the top of the piece of paper if I were just trying to come up with some ideas. And then I would brainstorm all the places that I would ever want to write about. I'll share with you some of my places so that you can get some idea of where I get these random thoughts from. And then I would pick one of them that I liked, but I would try to come up with a lot first. Try to write down 10 or 20 places that you could write about that could have a big secret. Whether it's a specific place like your parents' house, or it's a broad place like Malaysia or something like that. It can be, you can define what place means. Then I would pick one, my favorite one, but don't get too hung up on it because you can pick another one. Pick one and then write down all the possibilities for a secret that place could have. So if I were going to pick my parents' house, write down 20 different potential secrets that the place could have. And these could be anything, little secrets, big secrets, like a body somewhere on the property. That's a really creepy, disgusting secret, but it's a classic one. It works. Another good secret, though, might be like a secret cubby hole, which incidentally, my parents' house does have a secret cubby hole. We found it in my brother's room when I was like 9 years old, and we used a mirror to like look around the side of the cubby hole, and we actually found a bag of coins, which was really cool. So it can be something little but fun like that, that maybe leads to something happening with your main character. Other secrets can be like somebody's secret pain or somebody's secret desire who lives in the house. But the house itself could also have other secrets, like a secret passageway or a secret role. Maybe it had a role in a past historical event that was really important, right? Like maybe it was a stop on the Underground Railroad or something like that. So yeah, there's a lot of different kinds of secrets. And if you brainstorm, you'll come up with like all kinds of weird ones. If you force yourself to come up with like 20 secrets, you'll come up with all kinds of strange ones. And then you can try it again with another place. Pick your favorite spot that you went to once on a vacation and come up with 20 secrets for that place. And you'll just start like generating all these secrets. It's really fun. And I think that it's good to kind of brainstorm in this way, especially if you don't have any way to begin, because then you see like, oh, there's like a million different ways to begin. Hopefully that's not overwhelming to you. To me, it's reassuring because you can try writing one and see if you like it. And if you don't, you can try writing another one. So that's how I would start brainstorming with one of these place prompt like things. Write it at the top of your paper and then brainstorm all the ways that it could work out. Then the next step, of course, right, would be to brainstorm about your character. So place is a cool way to think about a story. A few of the places that I like to write about or would like to write about are New England, because I used to live there and I'm very nostalgic for particular places in it, including the border between New Hampshire and Vermont, which is just like it doesn't really have a lot of people in it. It's beautiful farmland. I went there once and I just felt really far away from everything. There's a lot of old Victorian homes in different places. So yeah, that place I think about a lot. I also think about Boston because I love it as a city. Western Massachusetts, I was just feeling nostalgic for because I went there once on a trip with my husband and it was really pretty and also far from things. And there's a lot of interesting history there with the Shakers. At least it's interesting to me. Another place that I would like to write about is a house or a mansion that someone inherits. And another place would be like a store that someone inherits. And maybe they weren't expecting to. That's kind of what I mentioned before, my like fun knitting and wool related book, that I was working on to encourage myself to work on my revision for Finding Lucy. And that's kind of the backdrop for that one, is a store that somebody inherits. For some reason that seems to me like a fun storyline to start with. Another place I would like to write about is Antigua, Guatemala. I went there with my husband, and it's a really beautiful old city with a lot of cathedrals that have been through earthquakes. They look really beautiful and kind of wrecked. So those are a few places just to give you an idea of kind of the randomness with which I consider place. I would love to hear what places you are interested in writing, and also if you have questions about this way of getting into a story. I hope that it helps you, but if there's something that you're wondering about, please feel free to leave a comment in the show notes, which are on my website, which is my name, aliciadelosreyes.com. Please leave a comment there. The website is ALICIA D as in dog, EL as in llama, OSREYES.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you will come back next week when we'll continue to talk about ideas, and I'll give you another set of prompts to start with. So if you don't like place, stay tuned. Thanks again. Have a great week.